I remember the first time I read Tui Bei 30 years ago. I was shocked and confused. I believe the book told the future, but the possibility that the future is set scared me. Years later, that familiar feeling came back when I watched The Matrix. If our future is set, then are we just part of a program? But it is unimaginable that someone can see the future. So most people just can't believe Tui Bei 2 is not a made-up forgery. I've watched many Tui Bei 2 decodings but failed to find one to win my vote. Anyone can interpret Tui Bei 2 their way. But to convince others that your interpretations make sense will be more difficult than you think. The reason is that when you compare Tui Bei 2 with historical events, you will find Tui Bei 2 has a few very unique characteristics. Number 1, it followed a pretty strict timeline. Rule number 2, it talked only about important changes. Number 3, important players' names are often hidden in the poems. Number 4, events are sometimes mentioned like headlines. Number 5, some odd choice of words may be clues hidden. And rule number 6, some odd headlines may be clues itself. The first rule can be seen from one dynasty to another. The second rule is often overlooked because people thought each poem can cover 30 years by dividing the 1200 years covered by the 40 solved poems. But that is not how the book was written. During Tang 290 years of reign, 8 poems between 618 to 783. Then nothing till Huang Xiao, rebel in 870 AD. And then in 5 dynasties, 70 years of reign, 5 poems with detailed descriptions of the names of the empire. And the dynasty changes. Fast forward to Qing, the poems talked about the taking of China, the removal of barrier kings, the slaughtering of people, and then the second poem talked about the foreign invasion, while the third poem talked about Boxer rebels, the imprisoned emperor, and the third one marked the end of the once powerful Qing dynasty. But most scholars focused more on the meaning of the poem. I can't say that is wrong, as I don't think anyone can describe the complicated events better with so few words. But who can deny the fact that so many of the important names are hidden in the poems? And if those names were made up by others, how come no one revealed it till now? Let me give you some examples. In Tang, use poem number 5 as an example. We got Anlu Shan here, Yang Yuan here, the Anqi rebel here. The place emperor executed his beloved Lady Yang was here. 5 Dynasties poem 11 show the person who killed the emperor. Song is best represented in poem 21 when it used a rarely seen word shou, which meant leaders, but in the form of 2 leaders. And the era name was shown here, with 2 kidnapped emperors in the picture. And I can give examples in every dynasty and in every poem. While the number 4 rule can also be illustrated well in poem 21, line 1 of the long poem talked about the era and evil atmosphere. So the poems are not just to hide the names, but with very deep meanings. Line 4 of the short poem saying, "South carriage moved to north." And the first line of the short poem showed empty palace. And the northern invaders established a dummy government as reported in line 3 of the long poem. Most people would agree with me on the above 4 rules, but I don't think anyone noticed number 5. I will give you not 1 but 2 good examples. The first one is the powerful Qing Dowager Empress Cixi. The word described her is slim. She was known for her intelligence, beauty, power, and hunger, but she was never known to be very slim. So why use that word? Because that by repeating the word twice, the left part made up of Cixi's name and part of the emperor's name. And in poem number 40, the author used a basically unknown word to describe government. But that word is made up of two parts. The top part is top part of Mao Zedong's first name, and the lower part is Chiang Kai-shek's first name. And the literal meaning seemed to hint Mao Zedong win over Chiang Kai-shek. Now, let's talk about the last rule. Clues and seeming odd headline. The best example is Poem 40's fourth line in short poem. This is commonly used term about great error by leaders managing a country through doing nothing. But what do you mean doing nothing? Almost everyone agreed that this poem is about the breakup of China after World War II, and the leader is Chiang Kai-shek. And although it is hard to ignore that Mao Zedong's first and last name were mentioned, I believe I'm the first one who found that both of Chiang Kai-shek's names, Mao Zedong and Zhu Enlai's, full names are all in the poem. And the most shocking part is how the Chinese Civil War results got hidden without anyone noticing. Choi in Chinese means fallen. Gong is hand in the left and communist in the right. The last word, Sai, is water on the left and Taiwan on the right. The Taiwan government did a lot to rebuild the war-torn Taiwan. Why call the government doing nothing? Because what this important message is saying, fallen and hand over to communists, cross-water to Taiwan, and the word Sai means manage. While with Taiwan being part of the world, it meant managing Taiwan. I know you may not agree with me, but I share my Tui Bei 2 decoding secret with you because I feel I have successfully decoded poems 40 to 44, which not only follow all the above 6 rules, but also uncovered so many hidden clues. Poem 41 is about Hong Kong. It is an event that changed China. We reversed the unfair treaty forced on us 100 years ago, and that also marked China's change, as Deng Xiaoping's name was well hidden, but it showed how he moved heaven and earth and how he died in the year Hong Kong returned to China. Poem 42 is about United States involvement in the Far East, from the 1952 Korean War, which has not ended even till this day, and how more changes may still be coming our way. Once we revealed the meanings of the words used, the poem became clear as water, and actually more chaotic events may still be headed our way. Then my revolutionary findings in poem 43 seemed to upset many people, because although I found Huawei, Ren Zhengfen, Ming, Wang Zhu all in the poem and even predicted the outcomes, people said they are not relevant enough to be mentioned in the book. Well, well, well. The escalation of the trade war changed the relationship between China and America. But will this change China? Will this lead to a global economic collapse? I can't say about that, but I can tell you that this is a major change that's worth noting. Then our decodings of number 44 shocked even ourselves. It was a surprise we did not expect even when part of the poem became clear. But the clues just kept on piling up, and we couldn't ignore them. So, will China lead a multinational alliance in Asia? Yes, I think so. Will Chinese technology lead mankind to a new era? Probably. Will that lead to more conflicts and possibly a world war? I'm afraid so. Number 45 is very confusing. The short poem seemed to say that Western forces will come east, but stop before getting involved. But the long poem talked about a world war. Compare this one with number 38, which talked about World War I, and you will see why I feel worried about our future. But it seemed like we eventually won over Japan. In number 46, we saw a Taiwanese soldier who called himself old and ugly, and with either white hair or no hair. I thought it was about Taiwan's rising star, Han Kao-yu. And if he can turn Taiwan around, who here can say he can't turn China around? But the short poem worries me, as it said, 10,000 won't die, but one can't escape. I first thought it is about an assassination attempt on Han's life, but then I thought, what happens if this is telling us there is only 10,000 of us who will survive the Doomsday? Don't blame me for spreading unnecessary fear. Remember that scientist said the Toba supervolcano eruption 70,000 years ago killed all but 10,000 humans? Well, we repopulated Earth in no time, so I am sure we can survive another bottleneck. But gosh, I hope that is not what it means. I don't know what you think, but I think Tui Bei 2 is amazing. You need to read the book from start to finish to comprehend its magic. Our team has made both an English and Chinese version. In 90 minutes, you can learn Chinese history and the world's most amazing prophecy book. And then you can read our decoding of modern Chinese history. We can't say we are right, but we can say we have tried harder than anyone else in solving this mystery. This is Ken Peters. Thank you for watching.